Well, this morning we're looking 2023 elections, fact checking and fake news. I have with me, it's me that wants to look for trouble. So I'm intentionally playing fire on the mountain because I'm about to go through. Let's see what happens. Is a media and communication enthusiast with over 8 years of experience. I've had him before, but this time around we're looking at 2023 elections. Who is now is also one of the ingenious fact checkers in Africa. Presently is the editor of the fact check desk at the Cable NG, reputable and respected online news platform. I have with me, the profile is plenty, but I've picked the two things I want to pick. I have with me Lanre Olagunju. Welcome to Signals.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, so we're talking 2023 elections, fact check, and fake news. There is being this. Okay, so it was on his own JJL when I went to go and look for him. I said, "See, let's talk." And it's been a lot of 2023 election is coming up in about this is August, September, October, November, December, January, February. February we decide the president we want to have, and there's been a lot of how do I put it, standing on all protocols. There's been a lot of arguments, there's been a lot of banter, people have been accused, people have been cancelled, just so that we have the obedience, we have the articulators, we have the bats, and it's been a back and forth. People are tired, people want new governance, but even at that, I remember that I posted something on my WhatsApp status, and I remember somebody calling me and saying that you people's obedience used to lie a lot. I said, okay, I've had 2 to 3 people say that. I'm like, okay. And then for some people, they're saying whether it lies or not, they shall want him. And for some other people, they call it Amaribati. See, there's a lot of it's almost as if 2023 elections is going to be the older generation versus the younger generation. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, like you said, like Asha said, fire on the mountain. I hope that this fire will be quenched out early enough. But 2023 is going to be here very soon, and the elections, the pickup to elections are already here. Like you said, it seemed that it might be a battle between the younger and the older generation, and I say that shouldn't be the angle that we should come from. I think there has to be a synergy. We really have to come together. And like we were discussing before we came on here, Nigeria has to win. Yeah,
for me, Nigeria has to win.
Yes.
Nigeria has to win. But what gets to me, and I think it was the last primary elections by the APC's primaries, I wanted personal opinion. Okay. I wanted Vice President to win. Right, I was really rooting, and then here comes Asiwaju. Everybody knew that Asiwaju was going to win, but at some point I was having a conversation with someone. I said, you know what? I felt pained. I was hurt. I don't like to get into politics, but I was really hurt. I was hurt.
I can imagine.
It's painful. But it's painful. But yet, what I realized is Nigeria will get what it wants. And when I said that to someone, people were like, why? Why did I say that? I said, see, every time when stuff doesn't go right, there are vested interests. Now, my challenge is, when would we as a country become one as against vested interest?
That's a very, very big question. When are we going to really become one?
Yes.
And from the history of this country, most times we are seen as a divided people who, and I think at this point in time, politically and with the issue of ethnic issues, we have been the most divided right now. But for the sake of winning for our country, for the sake of ensuring that I'm getting older, I have some
plenty.
I have some, not plenty, some.
Plenty. I started having mine, and I'm wondering how.
And then it worries me that we're all getting older. When is that Nigerian dream going to materialize?
Sure.
The older generations are giving up already. Many of them have given up already, and then the young Nigerians who think that yes, we are going to see change in our lifetime. And then we know what happened during that Sorosoke NSAS movement and all that. And now we are here. But I think we have an opportunity right now to actually come together and ensure that we make a good case for our nation. You know, so it's not because you're Igbo or Yoruba or you're Muslim or you're Christian at this point in time. We need to see beyond that, because those who have been affecting, those who have been, you know,
marginalized,
you know, those who have actually, you know, put us in this situation. We have bad people among us Christians, among Muslims, among Yoruba. You know, when these guys loot the funds, you know, that belongs to, they don't say, "Hey, Mr. Igbo, take this."
No.
The Fulani guys will take this. And then when we also go to the market to buy things, there's no different price. When you go to the shopping mall, there's no different price for a Yoruba person, for a Igbo person. And so that's why we really need to save our country at this point. And this bleeding has to stop. We need to come together and ensure that, yes, we have few names already. You wanted a particular candidate.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to this particular round.
Yes. It was painful.
But that's the reality. That's the reality. Maybe our generation will now go back and get engaged more. And they've called us a social media generation, and that we are just all sitting in a room typing. Maybe we now need to do more.
And
come out with strategies. Engage at the grassroots. Be engaged, really. And then maybe in another 4 years we'll stand a better chance.
That's
but right now this is what we have, and we have to manage it well.
So before we even go to 2027, there's been a lot of fake news. What are your thoughts on fake news?
Wow, fake news is a huge one.
Okay.
And many people like to think that fake news just started, or misinformation or disinformation, as we journalists like to call it. But let me first of all make a clarification. We have misinformation, we have disinformation, and we have malinformation. I'm taking to class now, right?
It's all right. Let's go. So that, you know, the truth is, if people don't get educated on what fake news is about, we'll keep arguing each other, we'll keep hurting each other. Let's know what the truth is.
Sure.
But tell us more.
So for misinformation, there's no original intention to mislead. So let me paint a very practical example. Say your grandma sends you a broadcast message of something that happened maybe 6 months ago. Oh, there's a tanker, there's an accident along Surulere, you know, please avoid that route right now. And then this happened like 6 months ago. But grandma just saw it that evening, and she said, my children, my daughter, my kids are on the way, let me send it to them. She didn't have any intention to mislead you. There was no harm in doing that. You know, a good example also is during the COVID-19 pandemic, and people were saying, take ginger, take this, take that. Yes, some said it worked for them. Medical science also scientists came up with the fact and what people should do. But people also went overboard and gave a lot of unreasonable things. Do they really have the intention to mislead? No. So that is misinformation.
Okay.
But when it comes to disinformation, I like to use that D to say it's deliberate.
Okay.
Yes, it's deliberate. I want to ensure that you take a decision based on this falsehood that I'm preaching to you and I'm pushing to you. So there's a deliberate attempt. You know, so when you say, for instance, that the GDP of Nigeria is so and so, and truthfully there's no record, there's no fact to buttress that, but because you want your administration to look good, because you want them to see you as Mr. Integrity, or the one who has been able to solve a lot of problems, then in that case you are consciously misleading people. That's disinformation. Then malinformation is when you do things, say things, write things, libelous things, you know, to malign someone's reputation or personality. That's also intention. That is even huge, and the law has its place for that. You know.
Okay, so we can forgive our grandmas.
Well, we can forgive them, but the truth also is that there are consequences for those things. Misinformation has real life consequences. In fact, sometimes I like to say life-threatening consequences. So let me give you an example. You're taking a flight from Lagos to Abuja, and then your pilot, for instance, is following a fake weather forecast. Okay, you say can you imagine whether it is whether you got information by misinformation or disinformation? There's going to be a consequence for that.
Because people's lives are stake.
Yeah, if a doctor is supposed to give you 5 milligrams of a particular drug and they give you 50 milligrams. Okay, fine. So misinformation has huge consequences. You know, you see how people, go on social media to say somebody is raising funds. There's this particular recent story of this Alexandra lady. I'm not sure if you have seen, it was on YouTube, it was on Google, and they said, she shared, there's a video where she says that, I have cancer, the doctor says I will die, please, we need to raise money, and
nothing was wrong with her.
I don't even know if, I've not been able to find out if nothing was wrong with her, really. So the chances are that video might be a video of something that happened to a particular person that got into wrong hands, and then now they are using it to raise funds. It's a possibility.
Okay.
However, a lot of money has been raised, thousands of dollars, and we realize that it's not actually going to any person who has cancer. It's just a scam. So those are real-time consequences.
And it affects other people.
I'm sure you remember during the Ebola crisis, when they said people should have their bath with, is it hot water, salt, and pepper? No, confess, did you do it?
Do what? I like cold water.
And people had, it burns, people had rashes, so there are consequences when we share misinformation.
Okay, so you've told us about deliberate misinformation, misleading information, and malinformation. Now here's the thing. Where is the root of all of this? Is it that sometimes people just sit down and say they want to cook up a not so good story? Just sit down and people write well.
Yeah.
It's so funny that people write so well on Facebook,
Yeah.
on Twitter, and LinkedIn,
Yeah.
and you're wondering which can you believe. Now here leads me to the fact checking. What exactly is fact checking?
Okay, and that's two questions in one. Let me quickly answer the first leg of your question. Why are people sharing this information?
Yes. Because we're having information overload.
Number one, political reasons.
Okay. 2020.
Political reasons. If I want to look good, and if I want my opposition or the other candidates to look bad, so I can overcredit myself, and discredit others. Or you can cook up lies, propaganda. So for political reasons. There's also an economic reason. So people want to read sensational headlines, and then you click on the headline, you see that the story has even nothing to do with this.
I don't like that.
Or you see, and this is sad. You see people who have died on social media. So is dead, and then they come back hours later to say that is not true. Why did they do that? Traffic.
Yeah, clickbait.
Clickbait. You go to that website, thousands of people are going to that website in that short period of time. So they make money from that. There's also something we have discovered as fact checkers. We realize that a lot of Facebook accounts are built with fake news to gather more followership, to gather followers, to gather likes. And as elections are coming closer, then they will sell that account.
Yes.
So you change the name of your account, and then you sell it to maybe a political party. Maybe you are ratified, or you are obedient, or you are then you sell to that campaign, and then they begin to share political content. But it might take usually someone to grow that account for, like, say, 6 months. And in the space of maybe a month or 2 months, because of misinformation that they are sharing, people are rushing there and they are clicking like to get updates. But the bulk of what they are sharing is fake. So there's a political reason, like I mentioned, there's an economic part to it. Then sometimes people want to be famous. Yes. I asked myself a particular question 2 days ago when the particular audio, in fact, it was in Yoruba language. And the person was saying that WhatsApp is going to shut down very soon because he is a WhatsApp ambassador. And that people must share this video. So myself and my team members were asking ourselves, it's not even asking for money. It's not saying that people will die or something. So why is he sharing this? But he left his name. He mentioned his name in that audio. So maybe his village people or community people say, hey, we heard your audio.
For popularity.
You are a WhatsApp ambassador.
How?
Popularity. Then sometimes because of anger.
Okay.
So if you're angry at the Nigerian government, you're angry at the price of Gary market.
It's enough to get people angry.
It's enough to be angry anyways.
Yeah.
But you realize that because of that anger, when you're having conversations, misinformation is going to jump in.
Yeah.
You say, but they promised us that there will be free education. Did they really promise you that in their campaign promises or their policy? You do have a policy tracker that says that this government will do that. You know, so when you're angry, when you're also anxious, anxiety, fear, like I mentioned, the Ebola crisis during COVID, people did all sorts,
Yes.
you know, just to stay alive. So when there's anxiety, when there's anger, when people want to get famous, when you want to make money, when you want to get political relevance, those are some of the reasons why people share misinformation.
Now, let's touch on political relevance. And for campaign is starting September 28th. I know it's September. How should people fact check from promises? You know, people can make promises again for political relevance.
Yeah.
And people are going to touch. It's very good that history is back in classes, but again, who is teaching history? That's its question.
And how long are we going to see the effect?
Yes, and how should people fact check? Because campaign is going to start. Everybody's going to say very, very laudable and nice things about their aspirants. What should people look out for? Because it's very important that, because you talked about emotions, people's emotions are high. They want to see good governance. How then are they able to fact check those informations?
Okay, so as individuals, we need to question, you know, what public office holders say.
Nigerian public office holders, they will tell you that you should not question the elders. Are you not in Nigeria?
Gone are those days when you don't question the elders anymore.
Anyway, Twitter children. But again,
They've called us Twitter children. They've called they've said that we are the social media generation. But that time when people just dump information on people, that period is really over. People are asking questions. If you see 4-year-old, 5-year-old, they're asking very intelligent questions.
Those one are Gen A, Gen Z is.
You know, and that reality, that consciousness needs to come into the season where the elections are, the campaigns are going to be here. So we at the Cable, as an organization, as a news platform, we understand that journalism has to be for public interest.
Objectivity.
It has to be the truth.
But do we want the truth?
You have to be fair.
Do we want to be fair?
You have to be balanced.
How do we want to be balanced? Now,
if you don't put all of this key points together, this like I mentioned, you're going to have issues with the quality of conversations that you'll be having, even in the campaign. And the quality of those conversations is what is really going to stop this country from this bleeding and ensuring that we stand a better chance of reviving our country, because it's almost like as if we don't have a country anymore.
Yes.
But the quality of our conversations is cogent, is important. And if all we are talking about are things that are based on fake misinformation, we are lying to ourselves, some people are somewhere cashing out on our ignorance.
Yes, and
so they'll push you to talk about things that are not very important, while they are focusing on their own particular. So media agencies have a role to play. You know, as individuals, we need to be very conscious. So we are tracking policies. As the campaigns, when they start dishing out their manifestos, we are filing them.
I'm waiting.
People say because you are fact-checking, you're fighting politicians. It's not true. I'm not, and again, one of the qualities of being a fact-checker or
I'm about to ask you what are the 5 W's and H important for fact-checking.
It's not about fighting politicians. It's about the claim.
Okay. Making sure that the claims are right.
Yes. So it's not you, sir. Because sometimes they even come forward on social media, they make rejoinders. I don't think it's really necessary. Let's face those claims. You said you have brought 5 million people out of poverty. Can we have empirical data?
But you know we don't have data.
Let's come back to that. That data problem is another issue entirely.
Okay.
But let me even face this issue of the quality of our conversations and fake news in the elections. It's very, very important. So we are filing policy. When they start making their promises, we're filing them. And then if you say you're going to make complete this bridge in 6 months, so in 6 months' time, we're going to say, Mr. Governor, we have not seen bridge, you know, and that's very, very important. And that's how to have healthy, real-time conversations. And then you have to be balanced. You have to call, Mr. Governor, is there anything? Or is it that something happened that you did not see? So when we are providing that report, is balanced, you know. So the quality of our conversation must be very important. Let's focus on the real things, and let's ensure that we have a mind that is inquisitive. When they are talking, right, maybe because I'm a journalist or a fact checker, when you're talking to me and you just mention one data, something moves inside me. This thing this person have said. Then immediately I'm going on Google, I'm checking data, I'm calling an expert. So if you say something in the health sector right now, I'm calling the doctor right away and say, is it possible for you to use so and so to cure this? If you say that you have done this, you have been able to save so and so billions of dollars, you want to ask people. That's the truth. We need to start asking questions, and those are the kind of conversations that we need to have.
I like the fact that you're saying we need to start asking questions, but for somebody who wants to win a seat, they're going to make so many promises that they sometimes will forget that they have made those promises, right? And let's look at grassroots, for example. If you make promises to these older women, to these old men, they will hold on to it, and if they don't see it, you still come back again. How then do we educate them that, okay, daddy or mommy, when they are coming to come and give promises, ask them, is it true? Because they're not going to come to for an aspirant who is making promises. Larry, you know that you're a fact checker. The market woman is not a fact checker, right? They would only send their lodgers to go and meet them and tell them, oh, because this is what you're going to do. How then are they able to fact check?
Interesting, fantastic angle, fantastic question. So I'll give a practical example from the work that we do at the cable. When we write our fact check, we also translate them in local languages.
Okay.
We write in local language and voice it in local languages. So it's a serious business. It's serious work. We need to stop this
misinformation.
So, yes, we need to.
Misinformation.
So we are hoping that the market woman can also hear that our local government chairman promised her this,
and he didn't do it.
And it is time already. In fact, we have given him 3 months. We have written a letter to his office, and he's there to give us quality feedback based on that promise. And she can listen to it in Yoruba, or in Igbo, or in Hausa language. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So
because they're almost like the easy target.
Yeah, they're not on Twitter.
They're not on Twitter.
They're not on Facebook. Maybe
they can be on Facebook, but because it's sometimes I have somebody who sends me a lot of messages, and I'm like, these things are wrong, and
so that sense of inclusion.
How do we include them?
Yes, we have to include them, and that's what we are doing. So by the time we do that, and then many of this content are being shared on WhatsApp and Telegram at broadcast. So somebody is not saying share this thing to 100 people and then you wake up tomorrow morning and become a billionaire. Okay. Let us share the information that concerns the road that leads to your market.
Okay.
Let's share details about the hospital, the public health,
the shops.
You understand?
The modern market.
And then when grandma is sharing it to 100 people in the market, so we have a population of citizens that are informed. Until we get to that point, this it's like a we against them right now.
Yeah.
The political class, they are going to keep having the field day based on our ignorance. So yes, we must track policies. We are doing that already, and then by the time this animation is out, a lot of that will be out. Already we are translating. In fact, we translate them into other languages and do the voiceovers, so you can get into the local communities where where people don't go on Twitter. That sense of inclusion is very, very necessary. Because if you check what's the number of Nigerians that are actually on social media and are very active, so that's very important. Imagine we're able to replicate that on a larger scale. Maybe media houses doing that, then we're going to have
more inclusive. Yeah. It signals on 91.3. We're talking 2023 elections, fact checking, fake news, be apologist, and if you have a question, call us. Call us on 009 234 5913. If you have some information and you'd like to clear it out, let's clear a lot of our doubts. Call us and let us know. 009 191 3913. Or send us a WhatsApp message 009 234 5913. Now, there's this fight online. If you accuse, and these are for the obedience, if you mishear about the obedience, people are coming to cancel you. What are your thoughts? Everybody is fighting, and
I think this cancel culture thing
is it working?
Fire on the mountain.
Are we going to nip it in the bud? Hold your thought a second. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Dennis Johnson. I'm calling from Apapa.
Go ahead.
Okay, please. I just want to ask you are talking about fake news. When the federal government is the originator of fake news, there was a lockdown, and the Minister of Finance mentioned millions of what the federal government have used to feed the school children. During the lockdown, there was no school, nothing. Is that not fake news? Are they not the originator? That is number one. Number two, if there is no work, somebody cannot just roam about and die. They will find means. They promise that they will do this. You say before their tenure ends, we are supposed to ask them. If they give you now that, okay, this is August, and by December we will complete this bridge, then by the next 2 months, they start to say, we don't know, it is not easy that we will finish this project. So they start. That means they have given you the excuse that by December or by the time they put for the public, they will not finish it. So that means you cannot ask them why, because they have already come back to tell you, we are sorry, it is not feasible that we can finish. So all these things, it is the federal government that is the originator. The people who are bringing this cyber crime, all these things, is it not the federal government? Why don't they provide the work so that people can go to work? When you go out in the morning for work, there is a little tendency that you will sit down to devise crime. But when you don't have, you go around, they will tell you, go and come back, we are sorry, we are not qualified, because why is it so impossible for Nigeria to employ police or security forces up to 3 million or 5 million in a country of, now the politicians are, today's newspaper, all over, they say the politicians, they are campaigning for protection. Now, after the protection, we already have about 150,000 guarding them out of about 400 and something thousand police. This election time. Hello?
Sir, so let's answer your question so that we can allow other people. Is that fine?
Okay.
Thank you so much. He has a lot of questions.
Too many for us to even answer.
Now, federal government is saying the federal government is the originator of fake news. They make a lot of promises.
That's a huge claim.
Yes.
But let me look into it this way. Yes, the truth is that we've had cases whereby fake news even come from governments. In 1989.
Okay, I think you need to. That's so, yeah.
In 1989, for instance, the NTA, broadcasted the obituary of the first president of Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and he was not dead.
Somebody should be fired.
So that illustration just shows that fake news has always been here. Government can also be a player. Journalists can also be a player by ignorance. Citizens, we all fall into that. You just retweet. So it's not enough to say only governments. Yes, I understand that there's a huge trust deficit. Nigerians don't trust their governments. They don't trust political office holders. And that's because there's no clear track record.
We don't trust them, we keep voting for them. Irony.
Well, when you're in a case whereby you have the devil and the deep blue sea, you have to vote.
Yes.
Okay, so let me leave that one at that point. But he has mentioned the fact that employment to reduce fake news. I'm not sure it will. Education will.
Okay.
You have people who are.
Still not stretch.
You understand? You have people who are well educated and still do things and then still follow materials on social media that doesn't make really so much sense. So we need to have a population. Literate populace. Yes. And then that is when we can start having conversations that is going to make our leaders accountable.
Another thought would be, we keep talking and nothing is changing.
Well, we keep talking, but I think that the talking that we have been doing has taken us from a particular point to where we are right now. And there's a higher level of awareness. Okay. Before now, I'm not sure young people were interested in the political discussions.
No, it was after October 20.
When you buy newspaper, you just go to the back page and look out for sport news, or just buy complete sport. But right now, Oh my God. You know, political issues are top notch. Everybody's in. There's a high level of awareness, and I think that's also very important.
Tobere is asking on Facebook, Mr. Larry, good day. With our fact checking and investigation, there is no punishment for political leaders. We have the information, but we feel powerless. But the information is power.
Well, we have had to fact check a few of them, and the publications are there. If you check on the cable website, okay. For instance, let me give you a very clear example. For instance, yesterday, the governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Governor Yabilo, was on Channels Television. Sunrise.
She was trying.
It was not even shown. It was not even shown yesterday, and it said the trillions that were spent on nose masks and sanitizers during the corona period would have been better used to pay ASU, and probably ASU will not be on. And then the question is, did we truly spend trillions of naira
On nose
masks and sanitizers?
I don't think so.
How possible?
I don't think so. Even if we did it for our health, because people still wanted to be alive.
And then compare it to the ASU matter, as if they are as if they cannot pay ASU and then people can still stay healthy. So the point is that government politicians are also offenders when it comes to fake news, when it comes to misinformation. That is the truth. You know, recently, the spokesperson for a political party was saying on TV that the late Ganifa Wemi campaigned in 2003, 2003, and Facebook was pushing for him so hard, just like it's happening right now with the Peter Obi, the candidate Mr. Peter Obi. That his popularity is just on social media. And then we said, when did Facebook even? When was it founded? It was in 2004. So those who you think are supposed to be very educated, we all.
No, you know, education is almost different from literacy.
But you know, when your bias is in the line, you are going to, your education will not matter anymore. If you don't put our biases outside, and we start talking about
what we need,
religious issues right now, you might find it difficult to realize that this Mr. Fact Checker is a professor or fact checker, whatever it is. He went to school now. If your ethnic bias comes in, you just begin to my people. You know, our people. So once you cannot take your biases, your ethnic issues, religious issues out of the line, you cannot remain intelligent. You cannot have healthy conversations. And until we are able to do that, we cannot hold office holders accountable.
If we don't hold them accountable, we keep having fake news. Nigeria will not get your senses to it signals on 91.3. We're talking 2023 elections, fake news, fact checking. How then? It's 7 months to go, right? August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Yes, 7 months to go. What should people begin to look out for? Okay. Because everybody's temper is up. We have the obedience are not going anywhere. Articulators, I don't know why they're silent. The bats too are also like, no, this is who they want. And again, Nigeria is at the center. How are people going to take a firm stand and say this is what we want as a country? Because listen, there is going to be life-changing money that will be shared across. Life-changing money that they did not see. And you know, people have bills and responsibilities, so they're caught up between collecting money, voting this person, and Nigeria. And then we want them to also fact check.
If we allow, we need to first of all be careful to ensure that we don't, due to misinformation, put our country on fire.
Okay.
We will be the one
who will
be countryless. There's a word like that. You know, recently I was going through what happened again in Rwanda, and that thing scares me a lot. Almost 1 million people, about 800,000 people died. Just imagine, how big is Rwanda compared to Nigeria? That they lost that amount of people. Children, grandmas, women, men. And I think if you go back in history, you realize that the radio, which is also, a strong of the media, played a huge role in that segregation of the Hutus and Tutsis in Rwanda.
Yeah.
She's Igbo, she's Fulani, anybody who steals is Fulani, anybody who lies is a Christian, that kind of...
Yeah.
We need to be very careful, because during election season in Africa, violence plays a major role. And that's why we need to ensure that the quality of our conversations are real. Let's take religious issues out of it.
Religion, which is the opium of society.
Let's take this ethnic issue out of it. What we cannot have back constitutionally, let's leave it. For instance, you mentioned your advocacy or your interest for a particular candidate is out of the list. You can't have him anymore. Those that we have there right now, how can we sieve out how can we sieve out those who are not for our interest? So we have to be very careful.
What's the interest?
Don't let us put Nigerian interests. How are we going to grow our economy? How are we going to ensure that our country is secure?
Yes.
So it's very important. We have a role to play. This country must not go on fire.
It won't. So
we should not use fake news and ethnic issues, propaganda and religion to set our country on fire. This jackpot thing we are talking about, I'm not sure there's a country that will take almost 200 million people.
No, people are still going to stay.
So we are still going to be here. All right. To answer the second question about money. Okay, you have all the money. There was a time whereby we say, it's not about what happens. No matter how much they sell a bag of rice, let me just work so hard that I can afford it.
It's tiring working so hard.
That narrative is faulty. Because now you can afford your rice.
30,000 naira per bag.
Let's say you make all the money, you can afford it. The roads on your street are bad. You are able to afford the Range Rover. So that when you are driving,
the cost of one gearbox will send you back.
The potholes on your road will not even affect it because your car is so strong. It can bounce the hydraulics to ensure that it cancels out.
Okay.
But at this point in time, can you have your own Nigerian army?
No.
Who would secure you?
No.
So after all the money that you have, you got the money from the articulated, from the Batify, from everywhere. At the end of the day, security is a major challenge. You are in your own aircraft, but you are still afraid.
Boom.
You can't even go on the road. You can't travel. You can't go on the train.
The climate is still there.
God forbid these guys move the attack into the airspace. You know what that means. So the money that we take from these politicians is not going to do us any good collectively. At the end of the day, with all the money in your bank account, you don't have a secure nation. What do you do? Okay.
So again, security, economy, education it should be a major interest.
Yes.
Good. I have nobody fact checked all the vile offensive posts. I have 2 minutes to go. So how are we going to do this? Nobody fact checked all the vile offensive posts, messages, and propaganda pre-2015. In fact, they were hailed as viable opposition. The so-called cancel culture by obedience is in response to all these characters who sell propaganda and lies. Ima, Lagos. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us? Quickly.
My name is John. I'm calling from Bariga.
Okay. Go ahead.
So my contribution is misinformation and disinformation has been as old as man. So even in the stock exchange market, out of war, people do it. So, but the best way is to try to educate our people on how to easily spot this kind of misinformation that goes on. Like for me personally, as a person, what I do is, let's say you're giving the, I'm an obese supporter, for example, now. So if you give me information about Obi, that he did this, he did that, I try to tell myself, yes, I like this man, but wait a minute, is this true? Before I share that, in fact, I hardly share. Is it true? I try to find out more before I don't say it because I like him. Then I just share everything I say about him. The same thing goes for example, somebody I don't like, and let's say candidate I don't want to mention name, but it's a candidate I dislike, for example. So if you tell me something bad about that person, I want to pull back a little bit and say, oh, this information that I'm hearing, is it true? Could it be that there are time to, say something negative so that people would dislike this person? So we have to be very careful as a person. So that's why I say we need to educate our people. You have to be very careful what we share, what we do, because this kind of information, disinformation, malinformation, and all this stuff has been in existence before man, and it will continue.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you so much. On WhatsApp, I have good morning. I think there has to be a strong consequence people are made to face for originating or spreading fake news. This will go a long way. Nero from Lagos. Thank you so much. My time is done.
Oh my God.
Yes. Anyway, I like the fact that people are educated, but I think we need to keep educating our people.
Yes, that's a big continuous thing.
Okay, thank you so much, Larry.
My pleasure.
thank you so much. I'll come and look for you again. Till we come your way again next week, Saturday. Quickly, Manuel sent me an error, so let me quickly deliver. It says, happy birthday and happy wedding anniversary to Reverend Dr. Fidelis Ayemuba and Pastor, that is Ayemuba of the Omega Fire Ministries, Oregon, Lagos, courtesy Eleanor Moridian and the Logistics Department. Well, 2023 elections is coming. For all of you obedience articulators and batified, yes, they even have a way of coining the Amariba. However, it is for me and for all of us is Nigeria has to win first. Whoever win is okay, but remember we need a secure country. We need a very good economic country. We can't keep spending from the money that we don't even have as a country because we're in debt. Till we come your way again next week Saturday. Kayode, welcome back. We'll have a conversation later. Create opportunities for people, and because people will be keep creating opportunities. Have a wonderful week and God bless.